Hi members. I'm releasing now the Ableton master template files. These are all the files for the full version of the master template that you've all been waiting for. I wanted to give you guys a lot of different options with this because I really needed to cater to all kinds of different computers and different CPUs and different memory levels and things like that. So some versions that work perfectly on one computer might not work so well on another. So I wanted to make as many options as possible so that this is usable for everybody. So this is the first page that you're going to come to, and these are all the download files. So basically the way it works is I've got two different download locations for each file. So this here and this here are the same. The drum group and the one below are both the same. So you only need to download from one of them. And if there's a problem with one, then go ahead and try the other. I also put the size of each group so you can check your zip file and make sure that everything is correct. And as you can see, there's a lot of different things to download. Some files are really small, and some files like the base group here is pretty big. So you want to be patient with these downloads. So the way that you're going to want to start is start with the main folder here. And actually this right here can get you up and running without even downloading any of the other parts. But it's going to be slightly incomplete. So you will want to download all of these. But I'm just saying, if you want to get going real quick, you got plenty of options here with the Ableton Master Template main folder here. So the way that this is going to work is you're just simply going to left click on this, and it should start downloading down at the bottom of your browser. I'm using Chrome right now, so if I were to click on this, and there you go, the download starts. Usually that'll pop your downloads into your download folder unless you've specified another location. So once you've got your zip files, with the Mac, you're just going to simply double click on the zip file. Let me just show you over here. So you'll have all these zip files, and you should, let me just copy this real quick. So if you got this file here, you just simply double click on it, and there you go. It'll give you the folder. Okay. Some are going to obviously take longer than that because that's a very small file. And when you open up the, let me get right to here. When you open up the master template file, what you'll notice is you have all kinds of different options here. So these are all song files. I've labeled some of them as CPU saver. I made one specifically for Windows because some of these were having a hard time opening in my Windows XP that I use for boot camp. So I did my best to make this workable. And then at the same time, I've also included a starter template. And this allows you to build your own template, but you'll want the rest of your folders downloaded before you start building. So what I would do is I would start with the CPU saver and see how it runs on your computer before you try one of the others that are more CPU intensive. So basically the difference between the CPU saver and the ones without are these ones have lower quality effects. In other words, I don't use the highest quality of reverbs, which is a main difference because reverbs take up a lot of CPU. So that lightens your load quite a bit. And there's a few other things that I've done to lighten the load on your CPU. So I would start with that, and because you could always change your settings on your reverbs and different effects if you want to. Now what you notice is when you open this is there's a folder right here that's just this empty folder, all right? What I've put this here for is for you to go ahead and put all of these folders here inside this folder. So this will be like your main library for the master template. And that's pretty much what I've done here. As you can see, I've got it all inside this master template library folder. And that's going to make it a lot easier for when you load your files here. They'll be able to find the samples a lot easier. I could go ahead and give you an example right now. So let me just grab this right here. I'll double click on it. And give the template some time to open up, because sometimes it'll take a little longer, but once it's up and running, you should be just fine. Okay, so here's the master template here, and as you can see, you've got all your options in here. And this will open up without any of the other folders being downloaded. This is all self-contained in this folder here, the main template folder. So this will be all ready to go for you. The only difference is that this only comes with a few samples. I did that so that your CPU wouldn't be so heavy. So on your samplers, each of the sounds has 5 different sounds that you can choose by the chain selector, which is quite a bit to work with when you consider all the different options that you have here. For example, if you go into the bass once you've downloaded it, you have the option to drag in different sets of 5 sounds, or you can drag in the full 20 sounds on your bass or any other sound file. Just be careful, because like I said, it's the sampler bass, especially the bass, takes up a lot of CPU. So if you find your load getting really heavy, this could be the culprit. And as you'll notice with each of the main sounds, your leads, for example, you've got all these different options here. You could drag in any of these separately. So I'll go into my leads here, and let's say instead of having the 6 sounds here, I want all, let's see, 18 sounds. So I could just delete this and then just drag this into my leads group. And there we go. Then it's just going to take a little bit of time to open up the samples, and we're all ready to go. Now, if any of these song files have a problem loading for you, what I would suggest is you trying out the starter template, and that'll look like this. Okay, so here's just a starter kit. So it's got all the drums set up, and it's also got the side chain set up already. So it's already side chained to the drums, so that's all ready to go for you. And then I've also included the utilities here, which is by default is turned off, and I'll explain this later. And then what you can do is you could simply go in and start to build your own parts. For example, I could throw in a bass group just by dragging it in. And there I go, I've got my bass group here. So I could kind of go in, or I could, if I want, I could just drag in like a specific instrument. And this is also great if I want to use any of these for a song that I'm already working on, or something like that, or something where you're not starting from scratch. You can go to your template and you can drag in any of your tools to use in any song, so you don't actually have to start with the template. But if you're trying to build something that works for your computer, works for your CPU, start light, start simplified, and then see how far your computer will allow you to go. And then what I would suggest is saving your song in your user templates. That's what this folder is for. It's just an empty folder. But this is where you can save your own templates, ones that work specifically for you, or ones that are catered towards the way that you want to make your own songs. So let me jump back into the main template here. and I'll just show you a few things. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you is groups like the leads, the stabs, and actually those two are the main ones. The effects are on the actual group track, not within. So basically everything, any of these that you use will be run through this effects rack here. This keeps me from having to add a monster effects rack to each separate part. And it sounds better to have everything running through the effects as well. And then you can turn on any of the effects chains or multiple effects chains just by simply turning the knob. And if you want, you could go in and you can fine tune any of the settings that you like if you want. As you can see here, you've got plenty of different options for each one. Okay, so for example, if I want to play this lead here, by default it's just going to be dry. Let me turn this up a little bit. And then I can experiment with some of the effects chains. And I could also experiment with multiple chains if I wanted to, just to create all kinds of different types of sounds. And like I said, each different one of these is a different chain that you can actually have plenty of control over each one in the macro section. So definitely play around with that. And if you have any questions about the template, first go ahead and watch my 1 hour long walkthrough of the template itself so that you get a better idea. Also understand that with the return tracks, a lot of the effects are turned off by default, especially the reverbs. Once again, I just set it this way to save on CPU, to make things lighter on you. I don't want to turn on any effects that you're not definitely going to use. So if you decide that you're going to use any of these effects in the returns, then you can go ahead and turn these on. So anyway, have fun with this. I hope you guys really enjoy it. I'd love your feedback. If you have any issues or whatever, let me know. If you think of anything that would be cool to add to the template or add to your template library so that you have some other choices, definitely let me know, and I'll definitely consider adding those.